Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another installment of everybody's favorite short show on the internet. This is Storytime with Jimmy, where you get to hear exclusive stories from the lengthy and incredible career of longtime WWE referee Jimmy Korderas. And Jimmy, recently on an episode of Huge Pop, we were talking about referees and officials who sometimes try to, make themselves a bigger part of the match than they should be. Those officials that occasionally try to go into business for themselves and stick their face right in the camera and make sure everyone's noticing them, which is completely antithetical to what referees are supposed to do.
Right.
However, there have been times in the WWE where referees were kind of told to do this kind of thing. I think you were probably guilty of this as well.
Yes, I have been guilty of it. I mean, recently a video popped up online that happened where current WWE referee Dan Danilo ejected, who was it again? I can't remember.
Raquel Rodriguez.
Yes, Raquel Rodriguez from ringside, but he did a nice little cartwheel, did a little extra rolling with his hands, and did the over-exaggerated, "you're out of here" kind of thing. And people are going, well, how come you're complaining about referees going into business for themselves and trying to get... There's a difference between being on live television and doing it for fun because you're asked to do it, and have some fun because you're on the road with the guys all the time. And it used to happen at TV. I'll give you an example on how this all began. First of all, we're at TV, and before every television taping, whether it's live or taped, we would have some dark matches. And the dark matches usually consisted of somebody from maybe developmental, when at the OVW, FCW, whatever the case may be, versus a talent maybe they want to take a look at and see if they're worth bringing into developmental or something like that. And then one day I'm standing at Gorilla, and I'm standing right beside Mr. Briscoe, who used to talk to us on our earpiece most of the time. And I believe Brian Hebner was the referee in the ring. And Mr. Briscoe says to Brian, do some jumping jacks. And I hear this in my earpiece, and I'm thinking, what did he just say? And Brian had this stunned look on his face, like, what? He said, yes, do some jumping jacks right now. So what does he do? Brian does some jumping jacks. And of course, the talent's all looking at him going, what the heck is going on here? We're all thinking, but laughing at the same time. So it started to become a little bit of a running gag during dark matches at television, where all of a sudden Charles would be in the ring, and they'd tell Charles, okay, Charles, do a cartwheel into the finish to count 1, 2, 3. And Charles, who's very athletic, was able to do it. And even I was told a few times, Jimmy, do it. Actually, it wasn't Mr. Briscoe who told me, now that I think of it. It was a familiar voice. You know, I'm used to hearing Mr. Briscoe's voice in my ear. Yeah. All of a sudden, this gruff voice. Hey, Jimmy, this is my worst impersonation of it. Hey, Jimmy, do a forward roll. Do it now, you son of a bitch. And as soon as he said that, I went, oh, it's Steve. Okay. Stone Cold Steve Austin wants me to do a forward roll into the finish. Guess what? I'll do a forward roll, count 1, 2, 3.
How did Steve even end up on headset at Gorilla?
No, but it's not headset. Back then, it was a microphone. It was an actual mic. You picked up off the desk, pressed the button, talked into it, and put it down. You know what I mean? It was so. It became such a running gag that guys like Steve and stuff like that would hang out at Gorilla, and they were being entertained by it.
Right.
And when this started, all of a sudden we'd go on long road trips where we go overseas and stuff like that. And every once in a while, somebody would try to implement something like that into the match, utilizing the referee having some fun to kill some time. But it was never done on live television. That's the point I'm making. But you know, it's okay for us to have some fun somewhere, but I wouldn't go into business for myself and do it just for the sake of doing it. If I'm told to do it, you know what? I'm more than happy to do it. There was another instance where they told me after the match, this time it was Mr. Briscoe, says, Jimmy, after the match, stay in the ring. And I'm thinking, why does he want me to stay in the ring? Are they going to send another match out here? After everybody cleared out of the ring, he says, okay, do a cartwheel out of the ring. I'm saying, do a cartwheel out of the ring. He goes, now, do it now. So I thought to myself, I'm on the far side of the ring from the ramp. I couldn't do it if you asked me to do it again. Two perfect in sequence cartwheels, which got me to the other side of the ring and seamlessly got through the ropes, walked up and walked out. I wish I had a tape of that one, but it was because it was probably the only time in my life that I did actual perfect cartwheels.
That is hysterical. And you know what it reminds me of a lot? It reminds me of back in my younger days, having spent time in the theater, right? When I thought, oh, maybe I'll be an actor. And you work on a production, you work on a play for like, you know, a week, a couple weeks, a month, a couple months. And once you feel like the cast has gotten so good at this play that they're almost bored, you know what they do? They start trying to pop each other during the production when there's a live audience. So either the actors on stage, they start screwing with each other, or the people that are in the wings, they're looking out at the actors, like doing all kinds of stuff, just trying to pop each other. Right. It really feels like the same thing. It's just, let's keep everybody loose, let's have some fun, and let's just go out there and goof around a little bit. And you're right, when it's not on TV, what's the real stake? But nowadays, it may as well be on TV because someone is going to film it and it's going to end up getting out there for the wider audience.
Of course. And you talk about popping each other on the stage. It also happened in the ring several times. And the big challenge back then was trying to get the Undertaker, who was the most stoic character in the ring and never broke character while in there. And sometimes even outside the ring did not break character. He's very famous for that. Trying to get him to break. And they almost got him a couple of times. I know the Godfather one time tried to get him when he was talking about his hose. And you could see him fighting it back, saying, "Oh, when we get to the back, you're." And then the other infamous one was trying to get Booker, trying to get him to do a Taker Rooney.
Right. Yeah. I think Hunter was at the middle of that too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even Vince came out and did one of the worst Vince Rooney's I've ever seen. But again, it's just, trying to pop each other.
It's so funny. Was there ever a time when you can remember either yourself or one of the other refs doing something completely wacky, maybe at a live event or a house show or whatever, and you remember the talent in the ring just completely breaking? Like, what the hell are you doing? Just completely breaking character.
I wasn't very famous for trying to get guys to laugh, but every once in a while, when you're in there with certain individuals, like when you're in there with somebody like Owen, I mean, I think I've told the infamous story about the foreign napkin that he used as an object, this red napkin.
Right.
But I know when the reveal came for the napkin, and I found out it was, I think they want to see how I would react. And I did my best, like jumping around going, "Did you use this? I can't believe you used this in the middle." And, running back and forth around the ring. This was in Oberhausen, Germany. Who cares, right? Not who cares, but
yeah.
We figure nobody's going to see this thing. We're having fun. The match has been hilarious. All the shenanigans that went on in the match were like, I was laughing pretty much 50% of the match, just all the stuff Owen was doing. It was incredible. And that was a tag match, him and Jeff versus Edge and Christian. Owen doing little things like going up to the bottom rope and doing a splash on Edge's ankles and covering his ankles and yelling at me to count. And Edge kicking out
at the bottom rope.
Yes, and Edge kicking out at 2 9/16 or something like this, or whatever. I mean, it was.
Hey, at the end of the day, it's professional wrestling, and if you're not having fun, you're probably not doing it right.
Oh, I did think of one because it was John Cena, right? Just speaking of someone, anyways, he was in the ring and he was doing a rap one time, and I was doing my worst dance while it was going on, and he looked at me and he cut some rhymes on me. I can't remember what he said, but basically telling me, "Don't do that again."
And that is the fun. And you see, folks, this is where these little moments happen, right? Live events, when there's a live event in your town, you should probably check it out because it's a different experience than just watching the show on TV. It is really always a lot of fun. You don't know what's going to happen. And I think things may be toning down a little bit with the live event shenanigans, only because, like I said, everyone's got a recording device in their hand. But at the same time, I think a lot of the talent, they just look at it like, who cares? We're just having fun. This is a practice run. This is a dress rehearsal.
Right. And since we're out here on the road in Europe for 3 weeks, hey, you know what? Let the referees have some fun too.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another installment of Storytime with Jimmy. If you want to hear a specific tale about anyone specific that you think Jimmy may have encountered over his long career in the WWE, get at us. Questions at hugepopradio.com. Thanks, Jim.
My pleasure.